special guest. We're excited to welcome in Chargers running back Austin Ekeler. Austin is the founder. Thanks for being here. You're doing so many cool things on and off the field. You were the founder of a new engagement app called, help me with this, Experience.
Yes, exactly.
And this is custom-tailored experiences that allow fans to interact with their favorite athletes and celebrities. Experience available on iPhone and Android at experience.net. Very cool. Skip, I know you have some questions. You wanted to jump right in.
I don't have a question. I have a declaration for this man.
I stand corrected.
Okay.
I want you to know that I'm already picking your team to win next year's AFC and be in this bowl.
Kiss of death.
Because you now have my ex-coordinator, Kellen Moore, who should still be my Cowboy coordinator, but got dumped in favor of Mike McCarthy calling plays, which is going to be a disaster. But that's just me. You got a guy who put Dak Prescott again and again and again into positions to win a lot of football games that unfortunately Dak wasn't able to close those deals. But the point is, congratulations. I don't know if you've had a brief chat with Kellen Moore or had a chance to meet him. He will help change your life. I don't think you're going to blow a 27-0 lead in a playoff game next year with some help from above.
Never happens again ever. You know. We had a brief conversation a few days after he got hired. Obviously saw what he did with Dallas, and so we're excited to have him over and excited for the opportunity.
He is really good at what he does, and he will put you in even better positions to do what you do so well.
Absolutely.
To piggyback off what Skip said, you get off to the great start in Jacksonville. It's your first playoff game in a while, and you guys are playing so well on the road. You get up 27-0. What's going through your mind when you're up 27-0, and as you feel the momentum start to shift, did you think you could get it back? Right. We're up 27-0. We're up there like, we're smacking these dudes, man. Let's go. Let's go. It's about to be a wrap. Right. We're going into halftime, right? Coming out of it, they got a touchdown there before the half, right? 7-27. We're good. We're going to come out. We get the ball. Let's come out with some energy, right? We came out energetic, and then we had a couple bad plays, and that was the first dominoes, right? Falling over. Right, and it was like, okay, we still got some ground, we still got some time that we can hold on to, and for whatever reason, the dominoes just kept falling and getting bigger and bigger, and we couldn't hold them. We're like, we're looking around like what's going on, coming together, like, hey, we got to step it up. You know how it is, you get on the sideline, and so for whatever reason, we weren't able to get that done, and it was just the whole landslide the other way, the second half, and something I've never been a part of, and hopefully never ever again. I'm looking at your stats. 13 touchdowns, tied for second most running backs, 915 yards, 17th, almost 4.5 yards per carry. Do you feel you can be a bell cow running back even with your size? Because you see a lot of teams, unless you got a Derrick Henry, they rely on multiple running backs. Do you feel you can be a bell cow running back with your size? So for me, it's been a climb, right? Where I came from this small school, right? I had everything to prove, still kind of do to myself, right? Where it's like, let's see how far I can go. I don't know how far I can go. I wasn't even supposed to be here compared to the odds, right? I wasn't undrafted, all that. And so for me, it's like, let's continue to prove myself. Let's continue to build on my role. And I feel like I've been doing that. And at this point, I think I have 311 touches last year, right? So I feel like I was in that type of bell cow running back role. It wasn't always handing me the ball, right? But they're throwing it to me, right? I had 107 catches, which was crazy. Never, pictured that happening. And so, I absolutely feel like I'm in a spot where I can carry that load. Let me ask you one more thing.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at your guys, yourself and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, Gerald Everett, your quarterback. Bro, why the up and down play offensively?
You tell me why. You find that, and then guess what? We'll be playing in that game, And so that's the chemistry. That's why we probably got rid of Joe, and then we bring in Kellen, right? We're trying to find that chemistry that helps, right? It's not that Joe was a bad coordinator. It's like just the mesh wasn't there, right? And so we had too much up and down, too much inconsistency, which in this league, right, is going to get you beat, as we saw. And so really, we're trying to find what meshes with us, right? As far as our style of offense, who we have, and there's the switch up, expectations sometimes are missed, right? People are playing better, playing worse, and so it's the shuffle. It's the shuffle every single year, but we got to find something that's consistent for us because we know who we have in our division.
So every time I turn on a Charger game, you just pop off my screen because I don't see any human running with the football who runs any harder with the football or run after catch than you do. So as you point out, undrafted. You grew up in Colorado, right? You went to Western Colorado.
Correct.
Did you watch him play when he was at Denver Broncos?
I didn't watch the NFL until like my junior year of college.
Really? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So you come from like literally nowhere.
Yes.
And nobody gives you much of a shot. And all of a sudden, you turn yourself into one of the best backs in football by simply playing harder than anybody else plays. That's how I see it. What burns inside to make you do that? Again, Shannon was a 7th-round pick, but this is even off the charts coming from nowhere like you did.
And what I love is the same thing that burns inside me today is the same thing that was back when I was a rookie, when I had everything to prove. I was 6th string coming in, undrafted, right? I was the only rookie that year. And for me, it was like, this is an opportunity not only to set myself up, but to change my lifestyle for my family, for my future, for everything. And the direction that I was going wasn't necessarily that. It was going to be the longer route as far as where I was going with my education. And so I was like, this is something that is once in a lifetime. And I'm going to treat it like that. And so what I did, I dropped out of my last semester of college, and I'm like, I'm going all in. I'm putting everything into this, everything. I went to train. I just went and focused solely on football. Got to camp, solely focused on just making the team, making an impact in any type of way I could, which for me was scout team, special teams at the time. There's not many, six strings getting reps out there, so you know how it is, right? And so for me, it was on special teams. And then, that same mentality has stuck with me the entire way, just trying to build and trying to actually just make some type of impact in my role that I have. And I've been able to build it up to what you see today, and it still burns within me. Every single year I have the rookies come in, I'm like, try to take my spot. Like, you need to try to take my spot, because you're not going to get my spot. Like, you're not going to try harder than me, because I'm going to be out here, because I know where I've come from, and I know what I've had to do to get to here, right? And so I need them to have that fire, too, because it helps me push me. And then it's just that ecosystem that keeps you turning, keeps you burning, and just still inside of me.
So when the leather touches your hands, what clicks inside you to make you run harder than other people run? Because it's not human to run as hard as you do, because it's going to hurt occasionally, right?
And for me, this even goes back to when I was in special teams my rookie year. It was my favorite stat, actually. I led the NFL on tackles on punt my rookie year, because I was running like my life depended on it. Like, Austin, you have to go make this tackle.
Your job was depending on it.
You have to go. Like, it was my job, right? It was my job, but I made it more serious to me. It was like, let me elevate that and actually, tap into my instincts of survival, right? And so when you tap into that, you get that superhuman strength where it's like, you got to get this done. And so tapping into that, and it's like, give me the ball, and I got to make something happen. Like, everyone depends on me, right? It's not just me, it's the organization, it's the fans, the fantasy, the fans in the stands, right? My family, all of that is depending on me doing something with this ball.
And yet, Shannon, one last thing. So many players I've covered for 40, 50 years, I've routinely heard, the harder I play, the healthier I stay. And it's a weird, it's sort of counterintuitive, but it's true.
Right.
If you don't think about, I'm going to get hurt, if you don't try to protect, if you just go all in, all out, sometimes that's the safer way to play football. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you got to fight force with force, right? And when you do that, you tend to neutralize things. You tend to protect yourself, right? You're reactive. You're on high alert, right? And especially for me, right? I call myself built with leverage, right? I'm only 5'8", and so for me, it's for running back, right? We got to protect our lower extremities, right? And so it's for me, I can protect my lower body, right? And I'm running hard, and I have good contact balance. So people nowadays have been learning they got to wrap me up, right? But before, early in my career, people just trying to bounce off me, right? And it's like, nah, like I can squat the gym, I can do it all, right? And so for me, playing with that high instinct, playing with force, right? You got to be the hammer, right? And I mean, as a running back, that's exactly how we're trained.
When I look at your team, early on this year when I made my predictions, early on I thought you guys could win the Super Bowl. I had you guys going to the Super Bowl. How much did injuries play a part in derailing your season? You look at Keenan Allen, missed a big portion. Mike Williams, Bosa, J.C. Jackson, your prize free agent. Rashawn Slater, your all-world left tackle, he missed a lot of time. How much did injuries play a part in you not fulfilling what you thought you guys could be?
Man, because injuries early on in our career or in our season were definitely a factor, but we were able to stay around where we got healthy at the end. So, if anything, maybe it helped with or maybe it was a detriment to our chemistry, to our consistency early on. Where, I had 100 catches. It's like, that's not great.
Right.
I want Herbert throwing the ball down the field, not checking it down to 107 times.
Right.
And so it's like when things like that. Now we've been doing that so much where it's like, we're missing those opportunities for Herbert to get in a rhythm throwing these spots.
Right.
And so I think that could have hurt us, but we still had the talent. We still had the talent to actually get it done and make a run in the playoffs. But it was the inconsistency. So I would say that's probably where it hurt the most, as far as just being able to play a full season together with all of our guys.
So your quarterback obviously is as gifted as any playing this game. How can he get better next year?
Ooh, so for me, with Justin, he's a young player. I went from Phillip Rivers, right? He'd been playing for 17 years. It was out there like, this is his show. Like, he's telling receiver, hey, you got this. Hey, we're checking to this. These are the signals we're doing right. Just runs the entire show. To a rookie that comes in, it's like, okay, well, he's got to learn all this stuff, right? He's got to learn how that, hey, we're all looking at him for the calls, things like that. So he's got to grow into that type of role. And so he's been growing. Like, I've been seeing him start to take control, start to get more comfortability and actually leading the offense as far as vocally, as far as taking control out of practice. And so really this is going into, I think, year 4 for him. And so that's where I think he needs to grow the most, as far as just, hey, we're looking to you. Like, you got to run us out here, like, because you might be younger than us, which he is, but it's like you're still the one hiking the ball, calling the plays in the right spot. And so that's why I think he is growing, but that's what takes time and experience to really get to that level. Because
seriously, when you're up 27-0 at Jacksonville, just because of the position he plays, he has to say, I got you, I got this. I'm going to make the plays that will make this finish with us in charge, because you can only do so much. Mike Williams can do only so much. Keenan can only do so much. That young quarterback has to say, I got this. And he wasn't quite